You have jerked your wealth tree upon the roots, up by the roots. But plant another, try again, and next time, if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you would know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is the one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. Saying this, he went away. And it was as he said, for the Phoenicians are scoundrels, and sold Asmir worthless bits of glass that looked like gems. But Algamish had bid me. I again saved each 10 copper, for now I had formed the habit, and it was no longer difficult. Again 12 months later, Algamish came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. What progress have you made since I last saw you? I have paid myself faithfully, I replied, and my savings I entrusted to Agur, the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental. That is good. And what do you do with the rental? I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spiced cake. Also, I have bought me a scarlet tunic, and some day I shall buy me a young ass upon which to ride. To which Algamish laughed. You do eat the children of your savings, then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many rich banquet may you enjoy without regret. So saying, again he went away. Nor did I see him for 2 years. When he once more returned to me, his face was full of deep lines, and his eyes drooped, for he was becoming a very old man. And he said to me, Arkad, hast thou achieved the wealth that thou dreamed of? And I answered, Not yet all that I desire, some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings more. And do you still take advice of brickmakers? About brickmaking they give good advice, I retorted. Arkad, he continued, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn. Next you learned to seek advice from those who were competent through their own experiences to give it. And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore you are competent for a responsible position. I am becoming an old man. My son thinks of only spending and giving no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Nippur and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share my estate. So I went to Nippur and took charge of his holdings, which were large. And because I was full of ambition, and because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth, I was enabled to greatly increase the value of his properties. So I prospered much. And when the spirit of Algamish departed for the sphere of darkness, I did share in his estate as he had arranged under law. So spake Arkad. When he had finished his tale, one of his friends said, You were indeed fortunate that Algamish made you an heir. Fortunately only in that I desired to prosper before I first met him. For 4 years did I not prove my definiteness of purpose by keeping 1/10 of all I earned? Would you call a fisherman lucky for 4 years, who for years so studied the habits of fish that with each changing wind he could cast his nets about them? Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. You had strong willpower to keep on after you lost your first year's savings. You are unusual in that way, spoke up another. Willpower, retorted Arkad. What nonsense! Do you think willpower gives a man strength to lift a burden the camel cannot carry, or draw a load of oxen cannot budge? Willpower but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set yourself to fulfillment. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I shall see it through. How else shall I have the confidence in myself to do important things? Should I say to myself, for 100 days I walk across the bridge into the city. I will pick up from the road a pebble and cast it into the stream. I would do it. If one of the 7th day I pass by without remembering, would I not say to myself, tomorrow I will cast the pebble, which will do as well. Instead, I would retrace my steps and cast a pebble. Nor on the 20th day would I say to myself, Arcad, this is useless. What does it avail you to cast a pebble every day? Throw in a handful and be done with it. No, I would not say that, nor do it. When I set myself to a task, I complete it. Therefore, I am careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks because I love leisure. And then another friend spoke up and said, if what you tell is true, and it does seem as you have said reasonable, then being so simple, if all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around. Wealth grows whenever men exert energy, Arcad replied. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it, and everyone who labors upon the house has part of it. Yet when the palace is completed, is it not worth all it cost? And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it is there? And the ground that adjoins it is not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit of it. Have not the Phoenicians built great cities on barren coasts with the wealth that comes from their ships of commerce in the seas? What then do you advise us to do that we may also become rich? Still asked another of his friends. The years have passed and we are no longer young men, and we have nothing to put by. I advise that you take wisdom of Algamish and say to yourselves, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first arise. Say it at noon. Say it at night. Say it each hour of every day. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like letters of fire across the sky. Impress yourself with an idea. Fill yourself with a thought. Then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it not be less than 1/10 and lay it by. Arrange to your other expenditures to do as if necessary. But lay that portion first. Soon you will realize what rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have claim. As it grows, it will stimulate you. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For of your increased earnings, will not the same percentage also be yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. And ensure an income for thy future. Look thou at the aged, and forget not that in the days to come thou wilt also be numbered among them. Therefore invest thy treasure with the greatest caution, that it be not lost. Usurious rates of return are deceitful sirens that sing but to lure the unwary upon the rocks of loss and remorse. Provide also thy family may not want, should the gods be called thee into their realms. For such protection is always possible to make provisions with thy small payments at regular intervals. Therefore the provident man delays not the expectance of a large sum becoming available for such a wise purpose. Counsel with men, seek the advice of men whose daily work is handling money. Let them save for you from such error as I myself had made in entrusting my money to the judge of Asmir the brickmaker, as a small return and a safe one, for is far more desirable to risk. 1 second. Okay. Enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. If 1/10 of all you earn is as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise according to your income, and not let yourself niggardly and afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich, with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. His friend thanked him and went away. Some were silent because they had no imagination and could not understand. Some were sarcastic because they thought that one so rich should divide with old friends not so fortunate. But some had their eyes a new light. They realized that Algamish had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of darkness into the light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. No one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understanding until he was ready for an opportunity. These latter were the ones who, in the following years, frequently revisited Arcad, who received them gladly. He counseled with them and gave them freely of his wisdom, as men of broad experience are always glad to do. And he assisted them in so investing their savings that it would bring in a good interest with safety, and would neither be lost nor entangled in investments that paid no dividends. The turning point in these men's lives came upon the day when they realized the truth had come from Algamesh to Arcad, and from Arcad to them. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. 7 curses for a lean purse. We're going to start that on next episode of Elude Citadel. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode 4 of The Richest Man in Babylon. And once again, this is a novel by George S. Clason, C-L-A-S-O-N. We are on page 17, and we're gonna finish reading this probably tomorrow or the next day. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and without further ado, peace out.